comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. Matt, we're joining all our friends and followers here on a special night. It's Monday, and why is it so special? I'd like to say that there was some sort of scheduling conflict, or like, oh, we really needed to buckle down and think about, the Batman and what we were going to say. Nah, AEW Revolution was last night, and I needed to watch 4 hours of wrestling.
Yeah, you wanted to go watch a bunch of sweaty men hitting each other and
Basically,
writhing
yes.
around on each other, yeah.
Hey, there was sweaty women there too, writhing around also. They're very welcoming and open, AEW. One lady came out like Jade from Mortal Kombat.
Oh, cool.
In fact, her name is Jade, and it took me a minute to put that together. I'm like, oh, yeah. So that was fun. That's what I was doing. And also, I guess I cannot complain about, like, oh, Batman, it was 3 hours long. It was kind of long. Joel, you watched 5 hours of wrestling last night, including the pre-show.
Yeah.
You have no right. Like, yeah, fair enough. You're right.
Yeah, I watched 6-hour video essays on YouTube. It's nothing.
It's true. Honestly, like, no doubt I am actually waiting for Quentin Reviews to put out his newest one there.
Nice.
That is like an 8-hour epic, and he's like, it's going to take me 24 hours to render this and probably 10 more hours to upload. And I'm like, and I will happily drop all my plans to watch it, sir. And I've never even watched these Nickelodeon shows you're talking about, but you do such a good job. You make me want to write some ridiculous 10-hour epic. Hey, in the comments section down below, everyone, what's a topic that you would listen to me talk about for 10 hours, like a ridiculously in-depth video essay?
Oh, geez. We could probably do one on goddamn Krakoa-era mutants.
Yeah, actually, yeah, that's a really good one. Like, we're still in it, so, like, it would kind of have no end, but, like, we're still in it. We could talk about the Netflix era of Marvel shows, considering those basically came and went.
Yep.
Talk about what worked and what kind of sealed their fate in the end. That would be a fun one. I got GTA 4 and all its DLC off Steam for like $8, so I'm actually going back and replaying some of those.
Nice.
It's funny. A lot of 4 is annoying like I thought it would be, but I'm not mad at it because I'm actually fascinated. Because all the new stuff they put into 4, like the morality system and the branching plot lines and the cars handling like shit and everything being overly realistic, didn't age well in here. But oh my god, did they take those ideas and evolve them and basically turn them into Red Dead Redemption 2.
Yeah.
Even like the biker DLC where you play Johnny Clements and the Lost, literally that storyline is very similar to Dutch's gang on Arthur.
Yeah. You can see like where I wouldn't be surprised because it's
the same guys, Housers.
Same guys and everything, that somehow like it's like in universe. You know how like they're both sort of the same universe, the Red Dead that somehow they're tangentially related. So like it's like Dutch's great grandson or something.
They're reincarnations, you see.
Yeah. Yeah.
Honestly, I think it's more just like the Housers had an idea in mind for their perfect video game, for their magnum opus, and they had to take a couple swings at it before they finally got there.
So, was it be bikers? Oh, what about cowboys? It works better with cowboys.
Works better with cowboys. Even the more serious tone worked better, and I have to say, man, good on you guys for getting there eventually.
Yeah, I miss GTA 4. I like that was such a good game.
There's a lot of stuff to enjoy it, and some stuff too where I'm like, wow, 5 made this so much more playable and more enjoyable. Like, I forgot how badly the cars handle in that because they're trying to be realistic.
Yeah.
And when you crash, they like blow up instantly, where like in 5 you could actually swing it so you could get your car back over, and I'm like, oh, that feels good.
Yeah.
That feels good. But we're not here to talk about that, everyone. It's a comic book God damn it, I always do that. I always hit this fucking light on the side. We're not here to talk about that. We're here to talk about comic books and comic book movies. Of course, this is our big spoiler episode for the Batman. We'll be getting into that in the latter portion of the show, but because we took some time off, because we did Retro Hero video last week. Thank you, everyone who watched that episode. We actually just got up to 1,000 views on that, so nice. I'm glad people are showing that show some love. It's a good fun for me and Matt, and a nice breather for us to flex our creative muscles and do something different at the end of the month.
Yeah.
Yeah, so we'll catch up on some news, and then we'll talk about the Batman, and that'll just be the show this week, everyone. Sound good?
Sounds good.
Sounds good. I said like they could answer me. Also, thank you, River Red, for the cheers. Much appreciated. Again, it's donations both on Twitch and the YouTube show that keep this show going, honestly.
It does, yeah.
Also, thank you for everyone who watched the Comixology episode from like 2 weeks ago now. I actually checked the analytics on that, which I never do. Apparently, it's my 3rd most viewed video of like the month.
Oh, wow, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, right next to Spider-Man and Thor. So, thank you on that. Again,
nice.
in my mind, my assumption was like, well, the podcast doesn't do great numbers, but it gets retention. And, I wouldn't want to take it away from the fans and the patrons who donate to it and everything. So thank you for making that episode really good and also proving that it's not me or Matt. It's not the quality of the show. It's the quality of the news that we can't control that decides whether this show is popular or not. And now that I have thoroughly let myself off the hook for everything, we can actually talk about the news. And fittingly, the biggest story of technically last week, but this week too, is a Batman-centric story. We know that Joshua Williamson has been plodding along there. They just finished up that Batman Inc. run. We're heading into Shadow War, the big crossover. But once that's said and done, Williamson will be off the book. He'll be going to write Justice League and the Death of the Justice League. Yep. They finally announced who the new writer for Batman is going to be. And surprisingly, but also unsurprisingly, it's going to be Chip Zdarsky.
Yeah, the guy who, right at this moment, is writing the best Batman book.
Yes, it's just called Daredevil. Red Batman, if you will.
Well, he's also writing The Knight as well.
The Knight, which is also really goddamn good. The other excellent Batman book. You're totally right.
Yeah.
So, it helps. And, again, a lot is kind of hush-hush about what this series is going to be because it's new. What we know for certain, though, is Zdarsky has said that he will be there for the long haul. Yeah,
he's... hopefully that means more than, 10 or 15 issues, because you never know what that exactly means.
It's true, you don't. To think so many... the last couple Batman runs have been, in many ways, unharmoniously brought to an end. King's Run kind of flamed out under a lot of, fan reactions to it that were mostly negative. He never got his 100 issues that he clearly wanted, even though he got to continue in other stuff.
Yeah.
Tynion was brought on for what we thought would be the long haul.
Yeah, it seemed like he was the one who was going to replace him and just keep working on this book, but then Substack came calling.
Well, clearly it looks like plans changed a lot for that, whereas Tynion was like, okay, I'll write till Joker War, and then we'll do Jace Fox and 5G and everything else, and that didn't happen, and he stayed along there, probably to the point where I think we can agree he kind of ran out of ideas with Fear State.
Yep.
Then Williamson came on to basically put the house back in order, and now we got Zdarsky coming on down to hopefully blow everyone's minds. I know he was probably on the top of everyone's list of writers that they would really love to see take over the book.
Yeah, I'm really excited for that. The last couple of stuff he's done for DC, The Knight and Last Ride at the Justice League book have been excellent. So I'm really looking forward to it. And I'm looking forward to, apparently, it's going to be more of a Batman and Robin book than just a Batman book.
Which is surprising. It's been since, 2015, 2016, since we had a book actually called Batman Robin.
Long time, yeah.
Yeah. Also, too, it's nice that it seems like someone is finally going to give Tim Drake something to do, because that's his Robin costume.
Yeah, he's not been up to much lately, and he's just kind of been in the background. He's not even involved in this whole Shadows of the Bat stuff.
No, which seems like such a missed opportunity.
Yeah.
Right? It's like, well, where the fuck is he then if he's not in Gotham? What, did they just forget to call him? It's so crazy, too, because they made, a big deal, and this is exactly what we were afraid would happen. They made a big deal in, that Batman Urban Legends, where it's like, maybe Tim Drake is going to be experimenting with his sexuality. Oh, perhaps he's, bisexual. And then they seemingly never fucking did anything about that, where it's like, is this going to mean a big push for the character? Is this going to mean a solo series? No, we just hoped that would move some issues. And now this.
That sold a bunch of issues, so yeah.
Yeah, hell of a thing there. But yeah, I'm interested to see what Zdarsky is going to bring to the table here. Callie Frederick helping us out. Loved The Last Strange Adventures and Dark Knights of Steel. Yeah, it was good stuff.
Yeah, Dark Knights of Steel was excellent.
Yeah, going into some really fun directions. There's some very Game of Thrones directions.
Yeah.
But yeah, I'm definitely excited to see this. Again, Batman has always been a top seller. at DC, and despite, our often talking about bat fatigue and everything, all it takes is an announcement like this for us to be like, okay, we're back in.
Yeah, a good writer with a good idea
Track
that
record,
isn't rehashing shit we've already seen. I'm really looking forward to it, especially after like what he's been doing with Daredevil.
Absolutely. Here's my question. Because we've seen what he's done with Daredevil to really deepen the character and take Matt Murdock and his entire supporting cast in interesting directions, what would you like to see him do with Batman? What's something that hasn't been done before and something you'd like to see? Because with The Knight, he's definitely doing something that I have wanted to see forever, and something that I've threatened to write myself if they didn't, and that is let's show the in-between years to Batman's training that we never see, where it's like, yeah, well, surely he wouldn't have left Gotham right away, and surely he wouldn't have been great right away.
Yeah. I don't know, because Batman's in a really weird place at the moment where like
Very.
Bruce Wayne, like, he's like missing from Gotham. He doesn't have his money, all that sort of stuff. So I guess all that has to be put back in place at some point, which is going to be really weird because the Foxes at the moment have all his money.
That's right. Yeah, I guess this will probably be, a return to glory for Batman. How does he get his money back? How does he get his family back? How does he, I guess, regain his reason for being in Gotham? Because to Williamson's credit, he did a great job explaining why Batman wanted to leave Gotham. He's like, nothing is holding me here anymore. My kids, my sidekicks don't need me. My father figure Butler is dead. My best friend Superman isn't even on Earth anymore.
Yeah. Do you think this could be the run that brings Alfred back? Because this would be the run. Because if he's in for the long haul, this would be the run that goes through with the Dark Crisis that's coming up, and that's essentially a universe reset, basically.
True. Did you read the last Robin book?
No, I haven't.
Well, let me tell you how that ended. Robin wins the tournament there, gets pure uncut Lazarus resin, and says, yo, I'm going back to Gotham. And they're like, oh, to make peace with Batman? Now I'm going to see someone else. And then they show Alfred's grave. So Robin is going to bring Alfred back.
That's not going to end well.
No, especially not considering everything we've seen with Lazarus Resin and Task Force X and everything. You get resurrected with it, but then you become a junkie to it.
Yeah, you have to take it to live. Yeah.
Unless this is like the good stuff that Raish gave Mother Soul to
pure,
come back
uncut.
When she's a skeleton. That was my thing, because we see Raish bring his mom back when she was just a skeleton and everything, and she didn't seem addicted to it, though she was selling it, so who knows.
Yeah.
Eric Santley helping us out. I could listen to hours of Claremont's obsession with bisexual women, or a weird history of multiple writers trying out Iceman being gay until they stop caring and have to present it. Ooh, see, those are great topics. I don't know if I'm the right person to talk about that, but those are excellent topics. I could
very interesting ones.
I could maybe talk about Claremont's obsession with kink, and maybe that's what inspired the Hellfire Club. Again, we don't know what's rumor and what's true, but a lot of people were assuming that Claremont actually was going to like real life Hellfire Club parties, and that's how he knew to write it.
But with that, again, you're right about what you know. Right, experience.
And some people being like, well, isn't that like Macbeth with the witches there and Shakespeare? And it's like, dude, don't reveal our shit. Don't write that. Yeah, you changed the name just a little. You called me Sebastian Shaw. My real name is Steve Shaw, but come on, man. But yeah, this looks good. I'm excited for this, and I mean, Zdarsky has been a writer on the like his meteoric rise from being like a guy you kind of knew to being like a AAA superstar has been happening for a while now.
Yeah, it's been great watching him and following his career.
So much to the point, it's like, oh yeah, he drew Sex Criminals, didn't he? He's an artist too, isn't he?
Yeah, he's drawn some stuff as well. Yeah.
Which blows me away. I'm like, wow, your writing has been so heralded now, people forget you can also draw. But yeah, I can't wait for this. I'm sure this will be a big deal. And again, just excited for a Batman writer in the long haul, because it feels like we haven't had one for a while.
Yeah, I'm hoping he does stay on for the long haul. And yeah, as you said, it's been, since Scott Snyder, since we had a writer that's written like it for years, almost a decade.
And that definitely felt like a situation of like, hey, let us not mess with the goose that's laying the golden eggs right now.
Yeah.
And as we've seen with his Daredevil run, he had a multi-year plan for Daredevil that's still going on. And also, he's going to keep writing both by the sounds of it.
Yeah, because they announced, not just long ago, they announced that Daredevil's going back to issue 1, and he's still writing it because it's going to be a continuation of the stuff after Devil's Reign.
So I guess that puts him into the rare club there of people like Frank Miller, who wrote both Batman and Daredevil, though I don't think Miller wrote them both simultaneously.
Yeah, that's the other weird thing, because I know DC did away with their exclusivity contracts, but there always used to be that thing where it's like, oh, to write the Batman book, you have to be like an exclusive. DC writer.
Yeah, any of the trilogy, we're not going to give it to anyone who, doesn't rely on us. But yeah, I guess Substack and just changing stuff in general has broken that down.
Yeah.
Hell, the last exclusive contract we heard about was Bendis, and maybe that's what made them want to change. It's like, we gave him how much for how long?
Yeah, we gave him all these imprints? What?
What? Maybe we want to change that. I guess that becomes the thing, too. What's Bendis going to do now that his Justice League is coming to an end? I guess whatever he wants.
Yeah, well, we've got the Volume 2, Season 2 of Naomi starting this week.
That's right.
And yeah, I imagine we're going to be getting some other stuff. We still got Legion of Superheroes versus Justice League happening.
Oh, yes, he's writing
which is like folding into like Dark Crisis and everything.
It's all connected, man.
Yeah.
It's all connected. Now, moving on from the big Batman news to the big Spider-Man news. Zeb Wells, we know, will be taking over Spider-Man at issue number 1 as soon as Beyond Spider-Man is done, and they released a little trailer to get us all into the spirit.
They did. I still find comic trailers so weird.
They really are. It's like, do it for all of them or don't do it at all.
Yeah, it's very specific comics that get trailers, like this one, and like Dark Knight's Metal and Civil War 2 and all this sort of stuff.
It's also this weird question of like, well, who are they for? This feels like you're preaching to the choir. It feels like you made a trailer to be disseminated solely amongst comic readers and people who were going to buy it anyway. Shouldn't you put a little extra zhuzh and a little extra, what is it, friggin', I don't even know what you would call it. I was going to say like, goddamn production value behind it to try and grab people who don't normally read comics.
Mm-hmm. And I guess it's going back to number 1, isn't it?
Yes, it is, of course.
Yeah. Again, it's a number 1. They want to sell people who might not be reading comics thinking that this is a number 1 Spider-Man. Yep.
It's a number 1, and it's also a celebration of 60 years because Spider-Man has his big 60th anniversary very soon.
Yeah.
Which is what led a lot of people to believe where it's like, oh, do they want to get to 100 issues, 60 years, that much quicker? So that's why Spider-Man went weekly.
Yeah.
Just to try and pad out the numbers.
It's the old, what happened with the Action Comics and Detective Comics issue 1000s, where it's like, the New 52 reprints count. To get us all the way up to 1,000,
Yeah, it's funny. Comic companies, they only care about numbering when it comes time for a big landmark issue.
Yeah.
Couldn't give a shit before that. We'll just change everything. We'll have several annuals in 1 year. It doesn't matter. Also, thank you, Pat Senior, for the subscription as always. Pat Senior helping us out there.
Thank you.
But so the trailer harkens back to that promo art that we saw before. It's Peter Parker sitting in a big crater. Everything around him is destroyed, and the idea being like, oh, what happened? What did Spider-Man do?
Yeah, and we've been getting hinted at through the Beyond stuff as well, with like Peter like having like a vision of something and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, there's something going to be happening.
Yeah, what did he do? What caused this explosion? Is he still nuclear from his run-in with the UFOs? We don't know.
Yeah. Do you reckon they'll pull a switch on us and it's like, you thought we'll, because they've done it before in these Amazing Spider-Man comics where you think you're looking into Peter's head, but you're looking into Ben's head.
I guess it depends if Ben sticks around after the end of Beyond. I truly wonder how that one's going to end with Ben. If they're going to put Ben back on the shelf when this is all said and done, or if he's going to stick around as a much more prominent character, or if they might kill him off.
Yeah.
I could totally see this story ending with him heroically sacrificing himself to save Peter so he dies again.
Yeah, alternatively, he could be the one who causes this and thus, causes people to blame Spider-Man, in turn blaming Peter.
Maybe he becomes the Spider Smasher that we talked about a couple weeks ago.
Yep.
Who knows? We saw some villains in there. It looks like Mr. Negative is coming back again because people really like him because of the video game. I think I saw Hammerhead there. I saw Madame Mask there, which is interesting. I'm like, yeah, she's fun.
Yeah, that was quite an interesting pull.
Yeah, not always a Spider-Man villain. It looked like he was fighting Killer Croc, too, for a minute. I'm like, well, that's definitely not who that is. Unless he fucking crosses universe, and that's why this is so big. Spider-Man and Batman are going to be teaming up. They trade villains for a bit, you know. Batman gets the Lizard, Spider-Man gets Killer Croc for a bit.
Yeah, and they're like, hey, some of our villains are quite similar.
Man, wouldn't that fucking blow people's minds? Wouldn't that be the coolest thing to get people interested in comics? A Spider-Man and a Batman come out on the same day. You don't tell people at all, but oh shit, they've switched villains.
That'd be pretty cool. There's some switch happens, some team up.
Yeah, and they're totally confused. The villains are like, what am I doing? This isn't New York. You're in Gotham City, punk. Or like, oh man, New York looks really different.
Yeah, all the villains get scared because just Batman just beats the shit out of them.
Yeah,
I'm not used to this. Where are the quips?
Yeah, why aren't you joking? Why does this hurt so much more? I'm a scientist. And Batman's like, yeah, that's what they all say. Tell it to Arkham. That you're a scientist. But yeah, another thing they seem to be doing here is they seem to be playing up the idea that Peter's friends and allies are leaving him. We see Mary Jane walk away from him very dramatically. We see the Human Torch get involved and also walk away dramatically.
Yeah.
Also, thank you, Functorial, as well, too. I hope what Peter did is something exponentially silly, like Peter made out with Queen Goblin. Naughty. Yeah, I hope that, too. I hope it's something super, super silly and forgivable, like, oh, no, I left a Hot Pocket in the microwave for too long. No, you know what it is? Spider-Man has a new power, Solar Flare.
Oh, no.
He's got the new Solar Flare power, but he can only use it once, and it greatly depowers him and leaves him human.
For a day, yeah.
For 24 hours, he becomes not amazing. that was basically all we had to say about Zeb Wells' Spider-Man. Looks good, looks interesting.
The show, it didn't want us to talk about it.
No, clearly not. We were kicking the hottest facts, the hottest takes. Didn't like us saying we were excited for it. But yeah, moving on from there, I guess we can officially talk about our next story here. And this is really a story for you, Matt, because I've not been reading it, but I'd love to get your take on it. Apparently, Iron Man and Hellcat are getting a special annual issue ahead of their wedding because they're actually getting married. Holy shit.
Yeah, we are coming close to getting to that issue now because we're coming to the end of the the Korvac saga stuff that's happening at the moment. And yeah, they've been kind of like an on-again, off-again couple because they reference all the stuff that happened in like Patsy Walker's like original book from like
forever
fucking
ago.
60s and stuff like that,
Wow.
And all the past relationship, and they've been getting together, and Patsy's actually been like really helpful to Tony in the storyline and like reeling him back and like making him remind him that he is just a guy. He's not a god.
Yeah, she does sound like, the grounding female lead of the book. How does Pepper feel about this?
She's not actually even in the book.
Really? That's crazy.
Yeah, I want to say she was... It's been so long, but I think she might have been in that first issue, and then, she's not even in this in this story.
I'm sure they'll have to do something with her, either in this special annual or in the big wedding issue in the, speak now or forever hold your peace.
she comes in to crash the wedding.
In her rescue armor and everything. And then they gotta fight for his affection, because, it's 2022, but we have not moved forward in our representations of women.
Yeah.
I'm sure you could write a really good story about Pepper being like, I'm happy for him,
Yeah, I'm looking forward to it. I'm really questioning like why Pepper isn't in the story at the moment, because like at the moment Tony's got the power cosmic and he's given it to everyone in New York, and like where's Pepper to like come and like slap his ass and tell him to stop it, because
knock that shit off. Knock that power cosmic shit off. But yeah, this looks fun and interesting, and also reminds me, I guess I should catch up on this Korvac saga thing, because it sounds like Cantwell's doing some very interesting can't miss stuff with Iron Man.
Oh man, Iron Man hasn't been this good since like the Fraction era.
And also, who doesn't love a good superhero wedding, really?
Yeah.
They're always fun, and even when they're bad, they're fun too.
Yeah.
Hey, there's a topic for our video essay: the history of superhero weddings. Did they work? Did they not work? How long did it last? Did they get divorced?
Oh, there's a few.
Top 5 greatest superhero weddings.
Welcome to Watch Mojo.
Thank you. You knew exactly what I was doing. Which again, do they even sound like that anymore? The Watch Mojo guy, or have they long since fired him and gone on to someone cheaper?
I don't know.
I don't know either. The only time I watch Mojo is when someone on Twitter says that they got plagiarized by them.
Oh no. Oh no.
Oh, it happens all the time. I know it firsthand. I made a video for Scott back in the day, Super Suits, which was talking about like superhero lawsuits and comic book court drama, and they totally ripped off an episode I did.
Of course.
Practically word for word, which is amazing.
Oh, jeez.
And I know they ripped me off because I got a fact slightly wrong, and they got the same fact slightly wrong. So that's how you know. But yeah, this looks like a fun one. We'll have to check that one out. Now, after that one, we have a story that I was really not expecting. A big crossover that they're trying to promote at DC. It's called Void Song, and it's going to be a crossover between the Flash book and the Aquaman book. Technically, the Aquaman book right now, I guess.
Yeah, this is kind of cool because Aquaman's been kind of doing the rounds at the moment because he's got that Deep Target book with Oliver Queen. Team up with that, and he's been teaming up with like other people all over the place, so I think that's pretty cool that he's like the team up guy now.
Very, very much so. It's a fun place for him to be because, you know, obviously they want to push Jackson Hyde and everything. A lot of people are really enjoying the book. It's getting a lot of good reviews, but also, hey, we got a new Aquaman movie coming out, so we can't forget Arthur. So yeah, I love the idea of everyone just gets their turn to have a field trip with Aquaman.
Yeah.
This story here is called Void Song, and apparently it sees an alien race invade Earth and freeze everyone in place by using melodic musical tones, and the only two people unaffected by it are Aquaman, probably because of fish reasons, I'm going to imagine.
Fish reasons,
and the Flash for speed reasons.
Various related fishery reasons.
Very fisheries. You see, I have trained my ears to listen to whale song tones, and because of that, I am immune to this because, you know, deep underwater, my ears get filled with water, so I don't hear it. And Flash is like, oh, well, my eardrums are radiating because of my inner ear, nose, and throat all the time for reasons.
When I run, I have to protect my ears with the Speed Force.
Exactly. I love reasons like that in comics, just the dumb bullshit reasons. Because it reminds me of like playing on the schoolyard. You think, you can't affect me because I've got wizard armor. You can't affect Aquaman because reasons. But it's like professional adults writing it, needing to think of reasons as to why.
Yeah.
And I always wonder where it's like, did they do like a couple minutes of pseudoscience research, or did they just say fuck it and say I'm just gonna make it up?
It's the Speed Force, you know. I ain't gotta explain shit.
Does everything. Like, what is it? The reason that always blows my mind is like in Ultimatum, where Ultimate Magneto was like, yes, I will use my powers of magnetism to affect the poles of the Earth. And even as like a dumb kid reading that, I'm like, I don't think that's how magnetism works at all.
That's a different type of magnetism, I think.
That's a whole other thing. And then like I would see videos years later of actual scientists talking about it. They're like, no, that's not how that shit works at all. Magneto just pulled some shit out of his ass.
But it leads to a cool picture, though.
It's a very cool picture, yeah. That's comic books. If you make it up good enough and have like enough conviction in your pitch, sometimes you don't care. And the Flash is famous for that too. Like, I'm moving so fast, my brain is on a different level, and I can absorb information in a book for an hour.
Yeah.
I can radiate my molecules enough to phase through solid matter. I can become pure energy. Same with Aquaman, where it's like, my latent psychic ability that allows me to interact with aquatic life also allows me to affect the part of your human brain that evolved from lizards, and I can force you to have a seizure. I don't do it all the time, but I can.
Yeah. If I want, I can make you stroke out.
Yep. Which, come on, if I was Aquaman, I'd be threatening to do that to people all the time. Don't make me give you a seizure. Hey, don't make me.
What is actually kind of interesting about this is that, like, this Flash is definitely Barry Allen. That's Barry's costume because it's got those stupid fucking lines on it. Which is really interesting because Barry at the moment's on Earth 2 in his own little fucking Earth.
That's right.
Thanks to fucking Pryor. So,
yeah,
so
absolutely.
is this after Dark Crisis? Is this just like a one-shot sort of fucking...
Maybe.
It's probably set in the past or something, yeah.
Yeah, I guess we'll have to find out. Because it's like, does Aquaman even look like that anymore? I know he's got the long hair. I know he got his arm back.
Yeah, I think he does look like that.
Yeah.
Yeah, I know in Justice League recently, he's still rocking the shirtless tattoo look.
Yeah, of course.
But I think it's like a week thing, you know. Like some weeks he wears the shirt, some he does.
Yeah.
You know, washing day, that sort of thing.
I mean, that's how I always felt about Batman in the black and blue cape. Sometimes I wear the black one, sometimes I wear the blue one.
Depends on who's like if Alfred washed it or not, you know.
Exactly. Magmaster in the chat there, where it's like, like or subscribe, or I'll give you a seizure. Man, exactly. If I had that power, I'd never stop doing it. hey, do it. I can do it through the internet. Don't ask how. But yeah, so that looks like a fun and interesting crossover. If you're a fan of The Flash or Aquaman or both, I'm sure you'll enjoy that.
Yeah.
Now, from there, we actually got a little bit of industry news, which we don't talk about all that much, but this actually kind of affects me, or did affect me back when I was going to cons. ReedPop, which is a major corporation. I'm pretty sure they control and back and book just about every big con in America now.
Okay.
It used to be only half of them, but now I think they literally do all of them. They do like New York Comic Con and Emerald City and basically all the things that I got to coattail ride with my other American podcast friends because I could never be invited on my own. So recently, and we talked about this forever ago, and I think COVID really kicked this one in the ass. They were getting into their own like digital distribution.
Yeah, I remember that.
Yeah, and we're like, oh, so comic conventions are doing digital distribution now? Oh, that's a fun and interesting idea. And then we heard nothing about it until this week.
Yeah.
They named who their brand new editor-in-chief would be for this project, and turns out it's a guy you and I both know. In fact, I'm pretty sure he follows both of us on Twitter, actually. Chris Arndt, or Arndt?
Arndt, yeah.
Arndt, if you know anything about comic journalism, if you have been on any of the major comic websites, chances are you know this guy's name and have probably seen his face because he has been an eternal fixture.
Yeah, he's been around for a while.
Yeah, he's like the Dave Meltzer of comics.
Yeah.
Or again, it's like, really, Joel, when you're talking about journalism, you talk about the most known and beloved wrestling journalist to talk about comic journalism seriously. you don't know any other well-trusted journalists. I'm like, okay, the Walter Cronkite, there you go. And even then, I don't think that fits because, he did television, not print. He's a guy who people trust and like, and he got a cool new job and a cool new promotion, and I'm happy for him.
Yeah.
Because, again, he's been working this gig basically for as long as we've been working this gig.
Yeah, for a while.
And he's one of the few guys in, like, comic press that I could actually reach out to if I wanted. I think me and him were on a Slack, actually, like 100 years ago, back when people had Slack for, like, comic journalists all to talk to each other and, network.
Slack.
Yeah. I don't think fucking anything came out of it. I checked it every so often. And I'm like, ooh, am I cool? Do people like me? Like, oh, you're actually talking about, like, serious business stuff and articles. I make dick jokes online. Yeah, thank you for inviting me, though. I just realized, I'm like, yeah, you guys are, like, way too mature for me. But yeah, so good for him. Congratulations. Onward and upward. And also, fucking book me at the next ReedPop event, please.
Yeah, please.
Yeah, after 2 years of being stuck in my own home, I'd like to go somewhere, anywhere. I know you guys do stuff all over the world. I'll go to Britain. I'll go to India. I'll go to wherever.
Joel in India.
Exactly. That's a video. I'll fucking do that. But actually, let's look at that right now. ReedPop conventions. What conventions do they do? Because they do. I mean, they're probably not doing much of anything right now.
No, probably not.
They got Metaverse in New York coming up. That's the MCM Comic Metaverse Convention. Oh, they do Star Wars Celebration.
Oh, that's a big one. That's coming up this year.
Yeah, they do PAX Online, EGX. Oh, the Crunchyroll Expo. I didn't even know they had a con.
Oh, I thought they were always like rolled in with like some big anime con or something.
Maybe they're big enough now they can do their own thing because they're on featured events.
Oh, okay, yeah.
They do BookCon and Book Expo, you know, for reading books that don't have pictures all the time. What else do we got here? We got C2E2, Complex Con, EGX. What other big events do they have going on? Basically everything. Yeah, New York Comic Con. Ooh, the Minecraft Festival.
Oh, Minecon.
There you go.
Need to bring that back for the cringe compilations that come out of that. God damn.
Oh, absolutely. Oh, PAX Australia. They do that.
Okay, yeah.
So yeah, basically all of that. I'm pretty sure. Did they do Fan Expo too? Did they absorb Fan Expo? I know that was a big thing for me because everything Canada was Fan Expo. I think they absorbed them too.
Yeah. What about Oh, what did San Diego Comic-Con become? That became something, didn't it?
Did it? I thought it was still just Comic-Con.
I thought it got rolled in with WonderCon.
Again, post-COVID, it's hard to keep together.
Yeah. I know they were trying to plan one during fucking COVID, and it didn't fucking work.
Didn't happen. Oh, yeah, here, WonderCon deadline in 4 days. Have your WonderCon 2022 badge shipped to you March 6th. Well, according to this, it looks like they're still 2 separate events.
Oh, okay.
Could be wrong, but it certainly looks like they're 2 separate
I just remember the last 2 San Diego Comic-Cons that came around were just like, oh, that happened?
Yeah. Yeah, it felt like they were kind of running around because of COVID. They didn't know what they were doing between digital events and limited in-person events and everything.
And they don't have the big companies there anymore because they do Fandom and Marvel do their own little Disney Investor Day things. Yeah.
Yeah, it'll be very interesting to see the future of cons going forward. That feels like a discussion we have all the time now, where it's like, yeah, the big companies realize, oh, we don't actually need these fan conventions anymore. We can just do our own thing for cheap and put it out.
Yeah, and people will still come to it. Like, those fandoms are just fucking insane in the amount of people they get to come to them. And it's just all online.
Yeah, all online, and the companies can control their narrative, and they can control how it gets out there, yeah.
Yep.
I can see why they wouldn't want to do it any other way.
Uh-huh.
But yeah, congrats to Chris on his promotion there. Onward and upward. Slacha to ya. I'll be sure to let you all know when I get my big promotion. Whatever the fuck that is. But yeah, you gotta be happy for people in the industry, and you gotta give them their kudos and thumbs up while you can.
Yeah, especially hard workers like Chris.
Definitely, yeah. I mean, that dude was a machine. He was fucking everywhere. I saw his name in every byline and everything.
Yeah.
I don't know how he did it. And as far as I know, he has no big controversies connected to his name.
Yes, that's the good thing. He's not like some secret comic gator or something like that.
Or some shit, yeah.
Giving money to Putin or something, you know?
Yeah, really. Yeah, exactly. He was secretly supporting them from the shadows. Yes. Now, moving on from that, everyone, a new story that was breaking just today, and I saw people in the chat asking if he would cover this. Doomsday Clock characters are set to return for Jeff Johns' big Flashpoint Beyond Zero.
Yeah, Marionette and Mime. Characters who technically still live in the Earth Prime universe, but we haven't seen them.
Yeah, we just never checked in on them ever again.
Yeah.
And again, seeing as there's, I guess, Jeff Johns' creations, he still cares and still definitely wants to check them out.
They were definitely 2 very interesting characters.
They were, yeah. They had a big push, and it looked like they were going to stick around and maybe be like roaming villains in the DC universe, and then it just never happened. Yeah, well,
they were almost set up like to be some sort of foil to Batman and to like Joker, because they had that whole stuff with like them finding Joker in Gotham and all that sort of stuff in Doomsday Clock.
Yeah.
And nothing ever really came of that.
Yeah, and their kid became a god, basically.
Their kid became a god who then was also powered by Dr. Manhattan's renewed faith in humanity because of Superman, and his name was Clark.
Yes.
Yeah. Well, are we going to see that kid again?
Yeah, and he became the Superman super god of the Watchmen universe when it needed him.
Yeah.
And that was a whole thing. Yeah. I wonder. Yeah, are they going to mention that? Are they going to be like, hey, what happened to our kid? Can we see what happened to our kid?
Well, that was their whole through line through Doomsday Clock. Marionette was trying to get her son back.
Yeah.
Because he was taken by... Adrian?
Yes, I guess so.
Yeah.
I guess that would make them interesting foils for Thomas Wayne, because so much of his character revolves around his son and the son he lost. Maybe they kind of do have, like, some common ground on them.
Yeah. I'm intrigued to see who, like, because in this little setup thing, they're talking with a Batman. It's never made specific whether it's Thomas or Bruce, but he's dressed like Bruce. But we know Thomas is going to be the main Batman in this book.
Yeah. Huh. Yeah, lots of places they could go with this. Well, it's getting more interesting, that's for sure.
Yeah.
You gotta wonder, too, if Jeff Johns is like, yeah, so I had lots of stories still left in the tank and a lot of ideas from Doomsday Clock that I never got to write, because that was basically the last thing I wrote at DC for a while.
Yeah, and do you remember the last couple of issues of that book got delayed because of writing changes or something?
Something. They were clearly changing something, and it's very obvious that book went through several major revisions.
Yeah, because it seems like every other issue was delayed somehow.
Yeah.
For something.
The fact that it's even as good as it was is nothing short of a miracle, I'm sure.
I know, right? It could have easily been, like, so terrible.
And remember the dumb shit that's, like, in the middle that was clearly editorial forcing something on Johns, where it's like, oh, you gotta mention Sanctuary.
Yeah.
And you gotta have the Judge of Owls, because get it, court and judges.
Yeah. You gotta tie it to all these other big stories we've got going at the moment, even though they're not as good.
Yeah, and even though we don't really know what era in time this is happening, and everything gets changed at the end anyway, so it doesn't matter. The chat's saying, is he gonna reference 3 Jokers in this as well? Yes. Bruce or Thomas Wayne goes around and kills the other 3 Jokers.
Yeah, Jason and Barbara are a thing now.
Yeah. Yes, in that story and nothing else.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. What weirdness on Jeff Johns' final days and final stories.
Yeah, so weird.
Very. Now, from that bit of Batman to a much even bigger Batman story, we can finally talk about The Batman that Matt and I both saw. And in fact, I'm glad we waited to do this show so all the hot takes can settle, and I can have more time to think about it, and you can have more time to think about it. We can talk about our feelings, and I'll let you go first, Matt.
You say hot takes, but there wasn't really any hot takes in this film.
There really wasn't.
Like, everyone kind of agreed that this is fucking cinema. This is a fucking awesome film.
Yeah, for once, everyone genuinely seemed to agree and be on the same side. They're like, yep, this was pretty good.
Yeah, and they're fucking right. It was a fucking great film.
Yeah, they made it work. Matt Reeves delivered on everything he promised in the trailer and then some. It's a Batman movie that does a lot of stuff that, fans have been asking for forever. I know we joked early on saying that this looked like an incredibly expensive fan film. And yeah, it kind of is, but in, like, the best way possible.
Yeah. This is a Batman we haven't actually seen before, and that is, this is a Batman who is a detective.
Yes.
Like a proper detective. He's not, shooting bullets at bricks and then looking at bricks and seeing which one looks like the brick that was shot, stupid shit that the Nolan films did. Yeah,
this is the Detective Comics movie is basically what this is. This feels like this could be a Detective Comics story.
Yeah, and it takes, like, the best parts of, like, a bunch of different Batman stories, like Year 2, Long Halloween, Dark Victory, all these fucking
Earth 2.
Ego, all these really fucking great stories, rolls them into one thing which you wouldn't think would work, but they do.
Yeah, because, like, when I saw the things they were pulling from, I'm like, oh, there's a little, Earth 2 Jeff Johns in here. Oh, there's a little Hush in here. There's a little Long Halloween in there. Oh, you better be careful. Oh, you might not stick the landing. Oh, they stuck the landing. Holy shit.
Yeah. Fuck, it's good.
Yeah, like, if anything, I was surprised, because there's, like, so many things this movie does that, like, in other hands wouldn't work and would probably be the death nail.
Mm-hmm.
The fact that this movie, too, is just so... If I were to sum up this movie in one word, it would be confident. The movie is confident in the material, confident in the story it is telling, confident to have 20 whole minutes go by in a Batman superhero movie that is just pure drama and talking.
Yeah.
Which is amazing, because I can only imagine the studio heads just, like, lingering over Reeves and being like, you can't do that. You just can't have 20 minutes of guys talking to each other in rooms.
You gotta put an action scene here. You gotta have the Batmobile come in and shoot a bunch of people.
Yeah.
And then Batman get out and then kill people and like all this stuff that you'd think like where they would do it, they don't do it, and that's why like you'd call it confident, I'd call it reserved.
Yeah, oh yeah, this is easily, not only is this probably the most reserved Batman movie, it might be one of the most reserved in general superhero movies ever made.
Oh, fuck yeah.
Like, shockingly reserved, but, like, not in a Christopher Nolan, like, oh, everything needs to be super realistic and super serious kind of way. This is a movie that isn't afraid to get comic booky and to get, like, you know, get some jokes in there and get some humor and levity. The Penguin, I think, is, believe it or not, I don't mean this in a Jar Jar way, but I think the Penguin was actually the key to everything because he's a funnier villain than we've had before.
No, fucking the Penguin was so good. Colin Farrell, who's, you look at him, you wouldn't even tell it's Colin Farrell. He's,
oh yeah,
like under that makeup, you can't even tell it's this fucking Irish guy.
Oh, totally transformed himself for the role. He waddles, he swears, he actually helps them solve a mystery.
Yeah, he actually looks like the comic book Penguin.
He really does, yeah.
Yeah, oh, he's really fantastic. Yeah, and as you said, he's like kind of funny as well. He's got some really, he's like the good cop, bat, shit cop, like really funny fucking lines.
Which you needed, and he delivers it so well. And I'm like, yeah, I like this. The Iceberg Lounge actually plays a massive role in the movie, which I was not expecting. Batman comes back to it several times. And the first time I saw it, I'm like, Jesus Christ, did they turn the Iceberg Lounge into a fucking meat grinder riot bar? That's not like the comics, only for them to be like, no, the real fancy club is under the fake club.
Yeah, the Hellfire Club is under the real club. And it actually kind of looks like what you'd think the Iceberg Lounge would look like. It's got like these, like his office, how it's got like those big like submarine windows overlooking like a highway or something. It looks so fucking good.
Also, too, identical twin henchmen, like something out of a fucking Frank Miller story.
So it's like Tweedledee and Tweedledum, basically.
I fucking love that, like, Dick Tracy-ass shit, and the fact that they make a big deal about it. It's like, wait a minute, goes back, gets his identical twin, wait a minute. We don't get those guys' names, but I like them. And again, if they end up making that Penguin show, which apparently they're talking about, I hope we learn more about the twins.
Yeah.
They seem fun, and again, like, total Dick Tracy shit. So yeah, I mean, like, this is Batman in year 2, essentially. So he hasn't figured everything out yet. He's got the cave, he's got the car, he's got the suit, but he hasn't really figured out everything else yet. This is a mystery story, and this is Batman basically having to teach himself to be a detective, and he doesn't always get it right.
Yeah, I like that he doesn't always get it right, but the things he doesn't get right are things that aren't part of his world as a billionaire orphan. So like in the film, there's one part where like one of the Riddler's weapons is like, it's like a carpet scraper thing. And
for pulling up carpets. Which, I had no idea what that was either. And then when he mentioned it, I'm like, But I like that the blue collar guy, like cop, knew what it was, but like Bruce Wayne, he would have no fucking idea what this thing is because he doesn't rip up carpets or like do any sort of renovation, manual labor.
So he would have no idea what this sort of stuff is. And then that kind of feeds also into like the whole plot of the Riddler. He's like targeting all of these corrupt government officials and people with ties to like
the powers that be, basically.
People with ties with like Falcone and Penguin and all that sort of stuff.
Yes, which is all part of a bigger conspiracy, which I was worried in the trailers where I'm like, oh no, he's unveiling a big conspiracy. Oh no, is this why the Waynes were killed? Are we doing this? And the movie, very subtly and very interestingly, has its cake and eats it too, with Alfred saying, you know what, truth is, we don't know. It was so chaotic at that time. Yeah, maybe they were killed as part of this conspiracy. Maybe they were just killed by some random dude on the street. We don't know, and we might never know. Yeah,
the Wayne family death, I like that we don't even see it. We don't see the pearls, don't see the gun going off or anything. None of that shit that we see
for that flashback
in every other Batman film. I like it because it doesn't matter to the overall story at that moment.
Yeah, what wonderful restraint to not show the murder of the Waynes for the 100th time.
Yeah.
Good on you. Again, the name of the game here is restraint.
Yeah.
It's like we say restraint, but like it's also an action movie too. And it's funny, you almost feel like Matt Reeves is like surprising himself, where it's like, wait, I made those Planet of the Apes movies. I'm an excellent action director. We should put an action scene in here.
Hey, what if we do an action scene with the Batmobile where it chases Penguin down the busy highway?
Yeah.
And it's like, yeah, let's do that, and it's fucking awesome.
I love the Batmobile in this one because it's so totally something this version of Bruce Wayne would put together, where it's like, yeah, I took a sports car and I put a fucking jet engine in it. It's wildly unsafe and dangerous.
Yeah, I put a jet engine in it, roll cage, I'm cool. It's got no windows or anything, you know.
But I am a traumatic sad boy with a death wish, so let's fucking do this. And I kind of love that. You know, Pattinson, he doesn't say much as this Batman, but he really doesn't have to.
But that's great. I like that. I've always thought that Batman, especially in like early parts of his career when he's like working with Gordon, like shouldn't be saying that much because he's still learning how to do stuff, learning how to be with these people and stuff. So he lets his like movements do the talking.
Yeah, his facial expressions and everything really do the talking. And yeah, I mean, hats off to Pattinson. I mean, I think we all knew he could nail brooding, but he totally finds new ways to brood.
Yeah, I like the way he carries himself in the bat suit. He's walking very slowly. Everything, like all his movements have a meaning to it.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
The suit looks great in action.
Looks fantastic, yeah.
Suit looks. I love the high collar. I really grew to appreciate the high collar, and I'm like, ooh, it's kind of like Batman White Knight.
It is, yeah. I like how functional the suit is. Like, it's got like so many parts of it that do something. Like, he's got grapple hooks like hidden in like the sleeves of the suit that he can like pull out of on his arms. He's got battens in the arms. The bat symbol itself is like a giant knife.
Yes, which is interesting. We see him. We see him do something here I don't think I've ever seen Batman do before, and that is double grappling hooks.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, why doesn't he do that? If one grappling hook is good, you should totally have two.
Yeah, and it worked perfectly.
It worked perfectly. The suit is basically bulletproof. It'll like knock him back and hurt him because it's like head to toe Kevlar.
That's what I really liked, because in all the other Batmans, they've made a point where it's saying it's like, if they hit the black part, it'd be fine, but if they go for the grey part or something, that's for knives or something. Whereas this one's like, no, the whole thing's a fucking tank suit, you know.
Yeah.
He'll take it.
He's that goddamn guy from Rampage is what he is.
Yeah.
It's just all a bunch of armored plates. It's amazing he can move. And also, he still figured it out, too, because he's got the whole glider thing. I love that he eats shit the first time he tries to glide.
It's great. Yeah, he tries to go under the bridge, but gets, like, fucking hit by a bus.
I think that's why people are really digging this movie, because it's like, oh, it's a movie that understands that Batman is human, and part of being human is that you fail, and that makes us only like him more. The movie's not like fucking filleting him for 3 hours.
He's not Bat God. He doesn't know everything or understand everything, has an answer for everything. And yeah, it's so great. And that feeds into like the like his overall story, whereas like he's still trying to figure it out, so like he doesn't know what type of crime he wants to like because he can't be everywhere at once. In the brilliant opening with like, which I think is probably the best opening to any comic book movie ever, where we get narration from him like in Long Halloween.
Yeah, like actual comic book narration, because he's writing a war journal. Batman's totally not Punisher war journal. Yeah,
about him, like he knows he can't be everywhere at once, and I like that it's a Batman that realizes he has limits, because it seems like it's like the Nolan films, like the Batman in that, like he tried to push himself to have no limits or anything, and that ended very poorly for him. Whereas like this Batman already on year 2 figures, okay, I can't be everywhere at once. I got to pick which crimes,
pick my battles,
you know, and you utilize the fear of the city against the criminals, which works so well, damn well.
I will say this, and this is a compliment I never thought I would give. This might be the scariest Batman movie they've done, because they really build this idea when criminals see the bat signal in the sky. They're like, oh shit, he could be in any shadow on any rooftop. Oh fuck.
It's so good. Again, that's what I think the Batman films needed, that horror element. Because that's Batman, one of Batman's greatest tools, the fear.
He's a creature of the night.
Yeah.
And yet they take that fear, which obviously had been explored in Batman Begins and other stuff, and they kind of turn it on its head in a very Darwin Cook kind of way, because a lot of this movie is Batman realizing, like, oh, you know, fear and vengeance and violence and everything, those are really good for my very personal, very, you know, blinders, privileged crusade. But what if Batman could be more than vengeance, you know? What if I could actually be a superhero, a caped crusader? And the way that they get there is really fucking smart.
It's really cool.
Because we see, like, his whole journey mirrored in the Riddler, which you got to give a ton of credit to, because I'm sure, again, that some movie suit didn't want Reeves to do this, where it's like, nah, he doesn't meet the Riddler till the end of the movie. Why? Because he'd one-punch the Riddler and the movie would be over.
Yeah, he meets the Riddler, I think, like 20 minutes before that big, for No Man's Land basically happens.
Yeah.
And that's, like, literally the first time we actually even see the Riddler without his mask.
Yeah, which is so smart, and again, such, you know, reserved that it probably took them to get there. I'm sure some suit was like, no, he's got to fight him, right? He's got to fight him at the end of Act 2. And be like, no, Riddler's not a fighter. He's a schemer and a planner and everything. He's smarter than Batman is right now, and he's got to stay one step ahead of him.
Yeah.
Which, again, so cool to actually see that version of Riddler on the big screen.
Yeah, it's really fun version of Riddler. I like that this version, much like some versions in the comics, mainly like I think the Frank Miller version from All-Star Batman of all things, where he knows that Batman is Bruce Wayne but won't tell anyone because that spoils the fun.
Yeah,
of it all.
Ruins the fun of it.
Yeah, it means that someone else knows a riddle that only he knows the answer to.
Yeah, because a riddle that everyone knows the answer to isn't worth anything.
Yeah, and Paul Dano as the Riddler is just fantastic. He's
wonderful.
He's basically like a Reddit incel.
Yeah, I mean, I had been fan casting Dano forever, and the angle they find with him is, like you said, so topical and so timely, where they're like, hey, what's the greatest evil that society is facing right now? Internet conspiracy theorists with too many accesses to weapons. Yep, that's it.
Yeah, and I like they make a point of saying, oh, he's got 500 followers. Like that's a big number.
I know, we have more followers than that, but that's 500 armed followers who are willing to go out and shoot up a pizza place because they got some fucking QAnon conspiracy. Literally, the Riddler is Q. You see people in the streets with Riddler signs. That's totally what it is.
My favorite part about the character is at the end when he does one of his live streams and he puts on the YouTuber voice. Thank
you. I want to thank the community and everyone else that we built here. I'm like, that made my skin crawl because I know it.
Yeah. I know that exact cadence he was using and everything. Yeah.
We have been there. That is people we know, people we work with, and I'm like, oh, okay, fuck, I'm crawling out of my skin right now. Best performance of the year is all I'm saying. And ultimately, too, Batman's big realization is when he starts, like, interrogating these, like, Riddler zealots, and they're like, we're vengeance, and he's like, oh, fuck, is that what I sound like? Have I been this asshole this whole time? The fact that the Riddler could ever think we are similar makes me sick and makes me know that I gotta change up the way I do things now. It can't just be about punishing crime and beating up criminals. I need to be a beacon of hope, basically. I need to be the light in the dark, and we get that literal scene of him saving people and them all gathering around his little flashlight.
Yeah, his flare, him literally like being that beacon of light and leading them out of the darkness, which is cool.
Yeah. Visual metaphors, but good visual metaphors.
Yeah, good ones, and like ones that actually have payoffs and meanings and symbolism and aren't just there just cause.
And a very cool shot too, with the overhead and everything. I like that.
Yeah.
But that last little bit there where Batman's realizing, like, oh, I can be so much more, and that, like, he's out there every night, like, trying to save people and trying to save human life. And it's like, yeah, that is what Batman should be about. You got it, movie. You got it.
You got it. And you did it in less time than other Batmen have done.
Yeah, I mean, you had a lot of time. At 3 hours, this did feel like I binged an entire Netflix show, didn't it?
Yeah, but it was worth it.
It was worth it there. It's like, all right, yeah, I'm digging this. I like where this is going. I think it's also a testament to why so many writers don't like writing Riddler stories, because they do get overly long, because you need the setup and the payoff, and you need the scene of everyone working together and figuring it out. And with most Riddler riddles, you get, like, the obvious ones, one good one, and then, like, oh, that's only applicable to this situation. That's not a good riddle. Like the one about justice is good. The one he tells at the beginning is good.
Yeah, I liked the dark humor in the thumb drive one.
Oh, that was funny. That was good.
That was good.
Where it's like, oh, this sick motherfucker, and then it's Gordon's email that sends it everywhere. That was good. I mean, hats off to Wright too. He's a very understated but enjoyable Gordon. I like that he's out there with Batman, and they almost have like their own buddy cop thing.
He's basically Batman's Robin.
Yeah, he's very hands-on. He's very out there with him.
Yeah, I'd have to say he's probably my favorite Batman Gordon iteration in live action.
He's really solid, and he gets a great payoff when, like, they're taking Falcone up there. It's like, I own the cops, I own this city. And he's like, you don't own all of us.
Yeah. And I like how much, like, because obviously they make many references to, because year one has already happened. He's taken down Maroni and everything. So, like, they've already got, like, they're, like, two veterans together that have fought in the crime wars.
Basically, yeah.
So Gordon's, like, calling him man and just, like...
I like that.
Just, like, not calling him the Batman or anything. Just, hey, man, how you going?
They're very casual in their relationship. And we didn't really get that in a lot of the other ones. We kind of got it in the Nolan ones. We got it in the earlier ones. But I like that they just dispense with all the getting to know you crap. And it's like, look, here is the relationship with Gordon and Batman that you know and love. Yeah,
it's great.
Where they are partners in this war on crime, and like Gordon keeps sticking his neck out for Batman, which means the other cops don't like him, but Gordon, sees him as a good tool to clean up the city and everything, and fight corruption because he is that one good cop in a city with not many of them.
He really did a really good job in building that year one Gordon, where like he's definitely a good cop who fights against corruption, but then isn't afraid to probably pick up a baseball bat and break your knees.
Beat the shit out of someone too for something that he truly believed in, which is a reason you like Gordon, but also just as much an indictment of American policing at the same time too, where it's like, look, any cop who would do this is probably not your friend, but you like Gordon because you like Batman. Everyone is complicated, and everyone has shades of gray. This is probably the most shades of gray Batman movie, isn't it?
Yeah.
To where like Bruce even kind of has to be brought low because he has this very childish idea about right and wrong and the justice system, and like, oh, my parents were heroes and I'm fighting to avenge them and make this city what they believed. Your parents were human too, actually, and they weren't as good as you thought, and they actually made some mistakes too. But the fact that you know that and still want to do good and try and save the city, that's what makes you a hero, fighting in spite of things not being perfect. Yeah,
it all goes into like his evolution of vengeance and what it means to him.
Likewise, similarly with the Riddler, where it's like, oh, I discovered this great conspiracy because I followed the numbers. You knew like half the story and made up the rest.
Yeah, you just filled in the gaps with what you wanted to because of all your weird conspiracies in your head.
Yes, because of what you wanted to believe, and also you were angry and vengeful at the city that you thought did you wrong, and you were going to lash out and hurt a bunch of people, which is what you did.
Yeah.
Also, hey, any movie that uses Ave Maria as a recurring musical theme, just totally, yep, you get me, movie. That's my favorite piece of opera. Fuck, you got me. That's unfair. That's a low blow. To constantly reuse Ave Maria as basically the Riddler's theme, more or less.
Yeah.
And I like, too, they didn't even bother explaining, like, why does he like Ave Maria so much? It's a nice song.
Yeah, it's pretty good.
It's a nice song. It's pretty good. It's all you really need. Lots of some other interesting Easter eggs too. They drop reference, of course, we said to Maroni in year one. They also drop reference to a journalist named Elliot.
Yeah, and then display big hush letters on the word. A very subtle Easter egg,
I loved everyone saying that. Is this a subtle Easter egg to hush? Oh, what, you mean the word that they fucking wrote there in big letters?
Big letters that was on the giant IMAX screen.
Yeah, which would be interesting, too, to be like, yeah, maybe Hush would be a villain later on. See, I actually thought the Hush thing was a misdirect because Riddler's the villain, and Riddler ultimately ends up being the secret true villain behind Hush. I'm like, oh, no, is Riddler in this going to turn out to be Tommy Elliott? Are they inversing Hush from the comics? But no, it turned out it was Nigma or Nashton. Which I thought the movie fucked around with that, but it's like, oh no, that actually was his Golden Age name, and that was his name in like Earth 2 as well.
Yeah. And I think I'd have to watch it like when it comes on Blu-ray, but he has like multiple IDs, and I'm fairly certain one of them was Edward Nygma.
It had to be. It's funny. I saw this movie without my glasses, and I'm like, nah, I don't need it. It's on a big screen. Fuck me, I needed them, because 90% of this movie takes place in small little clues and letters and everything. Every big moment is in small print, and I felt like such an idiot just trying to squint and figure out what they were reading about.
Chemdog brings up a good point. How about Batman injecting himself with venom?
Yeah, or adrenaline, but probably venom.
I mean, it was green. They made a point to show that it was like a green substance that he inject, and then he immediately got like very strong and angry.
And roided up.
Yeah.
Again, most of this like movie's Easter eggs and sequel hooks come in like the last 5-10 minutes.
Yeah.
Catwoman goes off to Bloodhaven. We all know what that means.
Mm-hmm.
Which, actually, we gotta talk about that. So yeah, Zoe Kravitz, amazing as Catwoman.
Yeah, she's friggin' fantastic. Just perfect, like, year one Dark Victory Catwoman.
Totally. Blows it out of the water. I can totally see why they put her on all of the marketing on top of just, being a pretty face to look at. They very clearly have plans for Catwoman. They're basically saying, like, would you watch a Catwoman TV show? Would you watch a Catwoman spin-off movie?
Yes, I would.
And yeah, and generally for the first time ever, I'm like, this version, yeah, definitely. This is the Long Halloween Catwoman. This is, like, the Miller Catwoman, where, like, I am defender of the sex workers of Gotham, and I am maybe a dominatrix, maybe not. We haven't said. I have all the accoutrement, but, could be anything. You don't know. I like to think if they modernized it, she'd be like, she has, like, a really successful OnlyFans.
Yeah, a Twitch streaming, yeah.
There you go. Someone tell Frank Miller about that. That'll blow his mind. Oh, I'm sure crazy Uncle Frank is well up to date on OnlyFans. It's research. I'm doing very important research in my office. Really, Frank? You've been working on that one for a while. But yeah, she's great. Her action scenes are great. I love how they show her fighting style is so much different than Batman because she's athletic, because she has her like little gears and gadgets and everything. I didn't even hate the mask. I thought I would hate the mask, but I genuinely came to like it too.
Yeah, I didn't like it when we first saw it. I'm like, oh yeah, because it looks like cat ears. Yeah. It's a lot better than what they had in Dark Knight Rises, though.
Yeah, it is, and also I'm sure too that because this is early in everyone's careers, that's a proto costume. I'm sure the next time we see her, she'll be like, oh, I was inspired by you, Batman. I made my own cowl. Yeah.
She steals one of his.
That'd be fun too.
Yeah.
Stole your fucking cowl. Yeah, she's great. I'm sure this is not the last we've seen of her. We said so much praise for Gordon. Apparently, they were going to do a Gotham PD show, but word is that has changed, and now it's going to be an Arkham show.
Which is really disappointing, because I was really looking forward to, like, Gotham Central, like, done right. like Gordon's version of, like, year one.
Yeah, I wanted to see this universe's version of Bullock and Montoya and Crispus Allen and Jim Corrigan and all those other guys. Yeah,
it feels like when they were, because it was only just come out that's being changed to an Arkham show. It feels like studio. It's like we want Arkham because the Arkham has Joker in it.
Which we do get that. We do get to see Arkham. I like this is a universe where Arkham Asylum exists and Blackgate Penitentiary both exist.
Yeah, and they both look more or less like they would in the comics. Like they have that like comic lean to it, like much of Gotham does.
Yeah, absolutely. Oh yeah, we got to talk about that. This is the best Gotham has looked in a long time.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's like 1970s Gotham, but like 2020 shit bolted into it. Like the main area in Gotham, like the Times Square in Gotham. It's all these old Gothic buildings with like giant LCDs bolted into them and all that sort of stuff. Even like Batman's technology, I like that it's like timeless. It feels very old, but then you've got like Batman using like holograms and like weird like eye camera things.
Yeah, which is probably the most high-tech thing he uses.
Yeah.
And it's a big part of it, actually, which is like, oh, so he's not like the Sherlock Holmes, oh, I have perfect photographic memory. Nah, I fake photographic memory with my future eyes. And I'm like, fair enough, that's fine. Again, this is year 2. He's not the greatest detective yet. He's still figuring it out.
Yeah, and Gotham looks so good. I love that I think there was one shot I could tell that it was Chicago, but it was only in that one shot because I think they shot in Glasgow.
Oh, really?
In Scotland. Yeah, well, that was, I think, what Matt Reeves wanted. They didn't want it to look like other Gothams, because all the other Gothams, you're like, that's clearly New York. That's clearly Chicago. Whereas this one, you're like, okay, I don't know what that city looks like, so it looks different.
It also makes it feel old world and gothic the way that Gotham really should. Yeah, because we don't have Wayne Tower or we don't have Wayne Manor in this movie. No. He lives in Wayne Tower. He lives in a literal bat in a belfry.
Yeah, and his cave is under it. It's like a broken down subway station.
Is the idea supposed to be that his parents donated the house to the orphanage? Because we do see an old mansion, but it's like the creepy... Yeah, what is it?
I think that's the idea, like the mansion became that orphanage.
Right.
Yeah.
Which, again, gives...
Or like that estate became the orphanage or something.
Which it gives the series places to go, where it's like, oh, maybe by the end of this trilogy, Batman will have reclaimed the man, and he's like, I'm going to make this place a home now for all my Robins I'm going to adopt.
Yeah. Oh, I wonder if that might be a bit too close to Nolan's one, because at the end of Nolan, didn't the Wayne Manor become like some orphanage run by Robin?
I've not watched Dark Knight Rises in forever. I do not know how that ended.
Yeah, something like that. But no, that'll be really cool. Well, the one thing I'm really looking forward to is because we don't get any Bruce Wayne in this, like Bruce Wayne being Playboy Bruce Wayne. Because that's not what Bruce Wayne in this movie is interested in. I'm looking forward to him finding out that he needs to do that, and Robert Pattinson becoming that, because I think that'll be pretty fun.
Totally, it gives them places to go. Bland Man in the comments, they're helping us out with a very generous tip. Thank you. I know this is off topic, guys, but recommend me some comic runs that you consider underrated, like Secret Six. We will. At the end of this, we're going to talk some more Batman, and then we will get to that. But yes, that's a good idea. We'll get to that. Other things to like about this movie. There's a lot to like about the movie. Man, Turturro was fun.
Yeah, it's Falcone.
Yeah, I would not have cast him, but he really manages to nail that shit-eating mobster.
Yeah, he's always wearing dark glasses.
Yeah, who always feels like he's above everyone else. And they write Catwoman a nice little subplot where it's like, oh, what's her relationship with Falcone? What's the deal? And in this universe, he actually is her father, unlike in Long Halloween, where she just thought he was her father. Yeah,
well, it's like in Dark Victory, where she found information where it kind of sort of proved that he was her father. They were still very nebulous about it, but yeah, it was really cool. We see him get his scar from Catwoman, which is cool.
I was not that late in the movie. I wasn't expecting. I'm like, oh, what a fun comic book Easter egg! Holy shit! Even the other things that used Falcone in it forgot that that's a thing.
Yeah,
that's like his most defining characteristic. Yeah, I like that a lot. Also, the fact that the Riddler was literally outside the Iceberg Lounge the whole time.
Yeah, pretty much, yeah. He was living across the street.
Which, I love that Batman even mentions that, like, God damn it, he was right here this whole time.
Yeah, again, Batman, he's still trying to be a detective, and, like, he still gets things wrong. Like that whole, was it the Rata, El Rata, Al Rata thing.
I love that Penguin is the one that figures that out.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
That's fucking amazing. It's like, yeah, of course he would have a better handle on Spanish than them.
Yeah, half his workers are probably Spanish.
Probably, because, he doesn't pay them well, I'm certain.
Yeah.
Hey, let's talk about that, too. So this is PG-13, so they're allowed to be a little bit sexier, a little bit more violent. They're allowed to get one fuck in, which they do right at the beginning. I saw a lot of parents in my theater very shocked, and I'm like, ooh, you didn't know PG-13 lets you have one fuck. Which, again, they give it to one of the dirty cops that I would have liked Batman to say, fuck. Like, really, really lean into it really hard.
Yeah, this is a Batman who says fuck.
Fuck. Hey, Riddler, go fuck yourself. I am the Knight. I am the Batman who fucks. They get that out of the way. But the thing that they don't do... And this is just, like, a thing I have about American movies and, like, ratings boards and everything. They can't say any real drug, so they create a fictional drug, Drops.
Yeah, Drop, yeah.
drop, which could mean anything, like, you drop heads, it's the drop lab, they're, cutting up and bagging the drop, which they do in, like, little Molly bags, so, like, that's how you know it's, like, a modern thing, like, this is what drugs come in now on the internet, in fun little bags.
I like... We never actually also find out who is making the drugs. It was just like who's selling them, be it like the Falcones and Maronis and stuff like that. Maybe someone like Jonathan Crane or Hugo Strange, or
maybe the Peñadora cartel.
Yeah.
Cowboy there. Could Batman Who Laughs enter the DCEQ? Man, I don't know. I'd love to see him enter, but, like, somewhere weird. I'd love to see him be, like, a Doom Patrol villain.
Ooh, that'd be fun.
Yeah, like an evil version of Batman fighting these, like, weirdo heroes who aren't quite heroes.
Yeah, that'd be good.
Like, they go to the dark multiverse, and it's like, look, we can't do Superman and the Trinity, but we can do their evil counterparts.
Yeah.
That would be fun. Ooh, another thing about this, and this is just for me, when they're, like, reading, Riddler's crazy conspiracy theories and all of his ledgers and everything, they mention a specific date there, like Friday or Thursday, July 16th, whatever. You know why that's interesting to me, Matt?
Why's that?
That's my birthday.
Oh no, what have you done that, like, Riddler is, like, looking into?
Invested in? I know, like, that fucking blew me away. I'm like, why is that my birthday? Why of all things did my birthday make it into the movie?
You see, they recorded that line for every day of the year. So, like, you go to the movies, like, maybe you'll get your birthday, maybe you won't.
Oh, man, that would be fun, actually. One person walks home very happy. What else is there to really mention in the movie? It's a story about Batman learning that Batman can be more, and they leave us on a hell of a cliffhanger, because, like you said, fucking no man's land happens, basically.
Yeah, what I think might happen, because, obviously, the Batman doesn't really know what he's doing. He's still trying to figure himself out. We get hints that, like, Alfred may have taught him everything he knows, like, because Alfred seemed to be, like, former SAS, or, Earth 2, like, whatever, he was a soldier,
Yeah.
So he taught Batman everything he knew, but I don't see this Bruce being someone who's traveled the world.
No, he seems like he wouldn't have had the time to do all that.
Yeah, so maybe that's what they could do in a sequel, where he's like, I've got to learn more, but I can't learn more in Gotham at the moment. I'm gonna go, meet Ra's al Ghul or something.
Hey, that would be a great place to be like, look, I need someone to teach me. Hey, Wildcat. Hey, Black Canary, will you teach me? That'd be an interesting place to bring them in, because there's sometimes Gotham-centric characters are like, there's this lady over in Gotham's Chinatown. They say she's the deadliest woman in the world, Lady Shiva. Yeah.
I'm gonna go learn from Ted Grant, this, like, old boxer.
Yeah.
Who, like, retired after he, like, killed a man with one punch or something.
Yeah. Hey, the Flying Graysons were in town when the flood happened. Maybe they can teach me the secret arts of the trapeze, because this Batman isn't really acrobatic.
No, he's always eating shit when he's jumping out of stuff, and yeah.
I think that would be a great way, actually, to work Robin into a sequel. He finds them, and it's like, his parents were killed in the flood, but their son is, like, running the streets looking for revenge, and Batman being like, hey, will you teach me, and will we, basically become surrogate family to each other?
Batman learns parkour, yeah.
Batman learns parkour from Robin. I think that would actually be super dope, and further justify having a young kid sidekick where it's like, no, he needs him because he's better at him than this.
Yeah.
He's better at him than these things that he can do. We didn't talk about Alfred that much, but Andy Serkis does a pretty good job here. He's not in the movie a whole lot.
No, that's probably why we didn't talk about him until now. Yeah, he's not really in the film all that much.
No, they put him on the shelf to, further Batman's own investigation. The scenes he has is good. They basically dispense with all the Alfred stuff. They do the greatest hits with an angry Bruce being like, you're not my father, stop trying to be. it's, you know, Alfred trying to get him more interested in being Bruce Wayne again and the day-to-day operations of running the company, which I think is hilarious because his whole thing is like, oh yeah, the money guys are coming, you know, we need to come and look over the books. If he just looked over those books, he probably would have realized that the Gotham Renewal Foundation was corrupt.
That's what's so good about it, because it's like all these obvious things that you would think Bruce would look at, but he won't, because he doesn't think they're related in any way, or he wouldn't even think about them, because as like Catwoman says, he's like a rich, privileged guy. These sorts of things don't like affect him, or he doesn't recognize them because they're not part of his privileged life.
You don't think about money because you've been rich your whole life. You don't realize that people would kill and backstab each other endlessly just for a little bit more. It's great too that like so much of this movie revolves around a conspiracy involving the Wayne's like foundation and everything. I think it totally flies in the face of, you know, like all those Twitter guys who think they're being very smart when they say like, oh, why doesn't Batman just, you know, put more of his money into charity to help save the city? Because charities and foundations could actually totally be corrupt too and be a great shelter for washing dirty money.
Exactly, yeah.
So that's why he's afraid to do it, because he doesn't want something like this to happen, and he can't be Batman and also watch that 24/7, and he can't get like Alfred or Lucius to watch it 24/7.
Exactly, yeah.
So I think there's something very interesting about that is the whole, basically the whole mystery and the whole axis that this movie spins on.
Yeah, and where it delivers Batman at the end, where he like realizes he's got to be Bruce Wayne to like figure out these sorts of things and look into these sorts of things, and then also be a better, like an actual hero to the people, and not just some guy who jumps out of the darkness to like break your legs.
Yeah, crime moves in more than one direction. Another Alfred scene that's good there too. He gives him his cufflinks because, you know, he cares about how he conducts himself, and he cares about him, you know, looking all clean and good and respectable. And it's like, what, are you a Wayne now too? It's like, yeah, kinda. And it all leads to the big scene there where they ask him like, oh, does he have any next of kin? Does he have someone? And again, doesn't really say anything, but it's like, no, we are all each other has, and I should have treated him better.
Yeah.
And it's a really nice moment. And I'm like, yeah, you're doing so much without words.
It's so good to have like writers and directors who
respect your intelligence,
who respect the audience's intelligence, and have enough sense to be subtle and like not hit you over the head with like, do you get it? Yeah.
Now, that being said, you know, all the adults in the audience were super pleased with this. I know there were 2 children in the front row who were very, very bored, which I feel not enough people have mentioned that this is like the second or third, depending how you count it, Batman movie in a row where it's like, so you guys just had no interest in entertaining children, huh? I mean, that's fine. This is good, and the movie's making a lot of money. It just seems weird that, like, don't take your kid to a Batman movie in 2022.
Hey, kids have that Super Pets movie.
True, which actually looks pretty good.
It does.
I'm not gonna lie. I saw the trailer for that, and I'm like, that looks super fun. I like Keanu Reeves as Batman. This is gonna make $1 billion. Mark my words.
Yeah. No. I know what you mean. Yeah, but I guess maybe they've realized that like people our age, people like, you know, young adults are more the audience to this character.
I guess. Like, between this and between Peacemaker, which are like the 2 highest rated things that DC did this year, super adult.
Yeah, oh yeah.
Super adult, and we're getting all these accolades and all these monies. So, I mean, I guess they don't need to look after the kid audience because, they got the Super Pets and they got Teen Titans Go. You know, we will give you what you want over there.
Yeah, and again, it's a sign that DC is probably doing the right thing now, and it's not all the same thing. You know, like you look back at like during like the Nolan Snyder times, everything had to be that. Everything had to be that, you know, super serious, over symbolic pieces of shit.
Yeah. I tell you what, kids, when you're old enough to watch Seven and Zodiac and all the other movies that this is referencing, then you can see it.
Yeah, you'll understand it.
Can we talk about that too? That I think this movie was way better at weaving its references, and, you know, better than like, say, something like Joker, where it's like, hey, I saw, you know, King of Comedy, I saw Taxi Driver and made a movie about it. Yeah, I know, and you're hitting me over the head with all these damn references. This movie had references references and stuff, but it didn't feel like that's all it had, where it's like, look, I like this thing, I'm inspired by this thing, but I'm doing my own thing.
It used those references as like a base to jump off and build like its own, like, we're going to continue this kind of weird, uncomfortable atmosphere that Zodiac had, and like add in like a Batman and like this weird guy at a green mask.
Also some Saw, too, because, I mean, the Riddler just straight up makes Saw traps.
Yeah. That one where, like, rats eat that guy's face.
Yeah, the bomb collar, like, Jigsaw's like, do I have to sue somebody? That's totally my shit. I like the bomb bit, too. I actually laughed at that, where he's just sitting there, everyone else has left, and the little bomb robot comes up. I don't know why I thought that was so funny, but I thought that was very funny.
It's pretty funny. It's finally, and also finally, that was a Skarsgård, one of the many Skarsgårds.
Oh, was it? I thought he looked familiar.
Yeah, he's finally in a good comic book movie, because he was the villain in the Green Lantern film. He was Hector Hammond.
Oh no, poor guy.
So now he's in a Batman film getting blown up.
Yeah, isn't it funny how so many of these like movies double dip on character actors now?
Yeah, they want that. They know that nowadays comic book movies are where the money's at.
I found it very distracting that Skarsgård's character name was Coulson.
Coulson, yeah.
I found that very distracting. Like, you couldn't have called him anything else, guys? You know, there's another pretty well-known character in comic book universe that's name is Coulson. I know you can't call him Dent or Loeb or anything, because those are characters that are probably going to come later.
Yeah. But
yeah, that's my thing. I mean, what else is there really to say about the movie? It's good. It works.
Yeah, it's fucking awesome. Do we want to talk about like sequels? What do we want to see? Sure.
So yeah, I mean, the city is flooded. We're basically in no man's land now.
Yeah, it's just something I didn't expect the film to do.
No.
So yeah, we're left at a place where like Batman says he knows like the crime's going to get worse and worse, but he's still gonna do his thing. So
Penguin looks like he's ready to crown himself king of Gotham crime, because all of his competition is gone. Again, will that be the Penguin show? Will we see that in a movie? I don't know.
Again, like, are we going to get the second film before we get any of these TV shows, or are these TV? Because if these TV shows are in between the films, they got to do something like, oh well, the Arkham show is about like, I know Arkham got flooded, everyone got released or something.
I guess. Well, no, we see, what is it, Riddler and Totally Not Joker in their cell after the flood, don't we?
Was that after or like during us? I don't know. You never know.
The timetable is all over the place, and that definitely looks like the last scene they added into the movie.
Yeah, so I'm intrigued to see what they'll do with that. Like, what would Batman be doing? Because they mentioned like National Guards being moved in, like army and all that sort of stuff. So yeah, I guess, like what I said, like, Batman could be like, okay, well, I need to, like, learn more to help my city now. I'm gonna go somewhere else or something.
I would love to see Robin. I would love to see them working in a sidekick. Made like, yeah, my parents got killed in the flood. I got separated from them in the flood and everything. And so Batman's got to take this kid under his wing and continue basically with that Darwin Cook idea. I set out to scare criminals, not children.
Yeah. Or you know what you could do? You could do that. Like he's like lost his family or something. And you do it basically like the Warriors. It's Batman and and like Dick Grayson. They got to get fucking Coney Island.
We got to get uptown. Yeah.
Yeah, through the flooded city to
with all the gangs chasing after us, Whisper Gang and the Neon Demons and everything. Just go to the Wikipedia for Gotham gangs and put them all in there. I like it. The Low Boys.
I could also see the second film being more whereas this film was all Batman, I could see the second film being all Bruce Wayne, where okay, Batman can't literally stop a flood, but Bruce Wayne can, and his money can.
I like that.
So Bruce Wayne, he becomes Bruce Wayne in that film.
Yeah, he's got to become a titan of the boardroom again. He's got to take back control of his company from that evil Derek Powers. Or some Powers person, because there's like an evil corporate guy he fights sometimes.
Yeah.
Rupert Thorne, I don't know.
Yeah, Lex Luthor.
Yeah, if you really want to start building up, Lex Luthor exists in this world too. Evil corporate raider Lex Luthor. Yeah,
and again, do you? Because this movie's doing really well at the moment. Do you reckon they're gonna build a universe out of this, or keep it contained to Batmen only?
This is DC and Warner Brothers, and we know how knee-jerk they are. So, yes, they are absolutely going to make this the new focal point now, and I'm sure it will hurt the other stuff they're working on.
Yeah, I'm really conflicted because, like, I want it to stay as, like, just the Batman, just his part of the universe, all that sort of stuff. But then I'm like, what if you put Superman in that universe? What's that look like?
Just put Superman in.
I mean, we know technically he exists because in that Halloween scene there is a person dressed as Superman.
Oh, really? Oh, that's
there
fun.
is. Yeah, so technically he does already exist. So, like, what does Superman in the Matt Reeves universe look like?
Yeah, do meta powers exist in this universe? What's the deal with that?
Yeah, because again, like, it's kind of perfectly set up with how this Batman film was, how it's like, oh, it's all Zodiac and, you know, all the stuff that Batman is in the comics. You just do the opposite of that for a Reeves universe set Superman film.
Totally. Thank you, Functorial, for helping us out yet again. Clayface is a body snatcher / the Thing scenario. Oh, that's fun.
Horror, like cosmic horror Clayface. Oh.
Like, even if you wanted to go back to Golden Age Clayface, it's like, look, I'm not made of goo, but I'm just an excellent, like, face changer.
Yeah, he's like an assassin or something. He's basically, what's his name? The guy Tom Cruise plays in the Mission Impossible films with, like, the faces.
Yeah, basically that. Like, I'm a face healer, face changer. What is it? Soot from Smoking Barrels. That movie, if you ever saw that. No, not Lock, Stock, Smoking Aces.
Smoking Aces.
Yeah, just do the Smoking Aces guy. Like, yes, I steal people's faces and I act like them because I'm an actor turned, like, serial killer or something. Hell, with the city being mostly flooded, that would be a great time for Killer Croc, don't you think? A crocodile man who swims through water, a bunch of people start disappearing, and they're not sure if, you know, crocodiles from the sewer are coming up or if it's just, you know, a serial killer with a skin problem.
Yeah, it's like a cannibal serial killer who's, like, filed his teeth into, like shagged spears and
get a good character actor who could play like a big intimidating monster. Hey, Winston Dukes, what are you up to? You're a big intimidating dude.
Oh, yes.
And a good actor too. I think you could do something with that.
Yeah. Oh, as Bizarro Guy says, the Superman he'd like to see in this universe is like the Grant Morrison Action Comics New 52 one, the jeans wearing t-shirt wearing one. I could see that. Yeah,
because if it's year 2 for Batman, we'll say it's year 2 for Superman as well. He's just starting. He can only leap tall buildings in a single bound. He's not flying. He hasn't figured out all of his powers yet.
That'd be pretty cool.
I like that a lot, actually. He doesn't have the S curl yet. He's shaved his head like what is it? Like DC when they tried bringing the shirt back for a bit.
Yeah, and he used like parts of his cape as like knuckle dusters.
Yeah, that's the thing. That would actually work a lot. And it's like, what are you, some type of Boy Scout? It's like, well, they say that. It's like, oh yeah, nice outfit, jackass. It's like, my mom made it for me, actually. And if you say that again, I'm popping you in the mouth. Yeah, see, there's definitely places you could go with it, for sure.
Yeah, I know Matt Reeves wants to do Mr. Freeze.
Don't we all?
That'd be pretty good. I don't know how...
Christoph Waltz.
Oh, that'd be good.
Because he's creepy and Austrian, so he wouldn't even have to put on a voice. My dear Noah, I lost her in the floods, and now I hate all things, and I will bring death and cold to the city.
Or you do it like the one from the White Knight universe, where he's like, he's like an ex-Nazi who came over and during like Operation Paperclip.
Oh, that's really good. My father was a Nazi commandant. I came here and I worked for the Wayne Industries. Little did they know I was stealing parts to try and save the life of my sick wife. Yeah,
I don't know whether we'd want anything that would tie into the Wayne Industry again, because it feels like they do that all the time with the villains in the Batman films, where it's like in Batman Forever, Jim Carrey's Riddler was working for Wayne Enterprises and all that sort of stuff, and it's like, clean your house, Bruce. You've got too many villains working for you.
They literally make that joke all the time where they're like, oh yeah, great, another supervillain brought to you by a grant from the Wayne Foundation.
Yeah.
They do make so many villains.
Yeah. Obviously we're going to be getting Joker at some point. Definitely not the second film, probably the third film. And it look by like how it is in this film, like Batman already arrested him.
Yeah, but he's not like a full, like, maybe he hasn't gone in the acid yet. He's just like a regular crazy criminal.
I don't know. I think he kind of looked like he had been in the acid. Like he had like fucked up hair and like from what we could see of like his like eyes and all that. We also know like Barry Keoghan is playing him as well.
Yeah, which is really cool. Drew, which good casting because that guy, much like Paul Dano, is just creepy as fuck all the time.
It's real weird. I was hoping we didn't get it, but I was kind of hoping it would keep his Irish accent.
Yeah, Irish Joker, why not? I'm the Joker, toy Batman. Smell me flower. I like they let you know, but don't knock you over the head with it, where it's like, sometimes, you're top of the world, sometimes you're a clown, but there are worse things to be.
Yeah, I also like that it confirms that this movie isn't any way related to the Joker movie.
Yes, which a lot of people kept saying. Yeah, I was waiting for that too. I'm like, please don't be Joaquin Phoenix. Please don't be Joaquin Phoenix. Oh, good, it's not Joaquin Phoenix. Please don't, because a lot of people wanted that for some reason, and I don't understand.
No, yeah, The Joker was a terrible film.
Yeah, and also one that had very little cultural relevance, like it didn't stick around.
No.
Cultural shelf life, I should say. Everyone was talking about it when it came out, and then as time went on.
Everyone was talking about it, but in like a joking way, because, Joker, we live in a society. Gamers.
Even Reeves himself said when asked about it, he's like, yeah, that's its own thing. That was 5 years ago. I don't know what they're doing.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, man, that was my review when I saw the movie, too. Yeah, they're doing their own thing. I don't know what they're doing. Ooh, Captain Kuhn with a good one there. Joel's Mr. Freeze is just him doing Dr. Killinger from Venture. Yes, it is. Would you like to see my magic murder bag, Batman? Yeah. So yeah, that's definitely some places they could go with it. Would love to see them do Robin, because again, we haven't done sidekicks yet, and I just feel like it's time now.
Yeah, we haven't had a proper live action movie one since the Schumacher days. Do it proper. Just get like some kid come in, dress him up in like a circus acrobat costume. Take it for what it is.
The perfect way you do it, he's like, yeah, I made my own homemade costume out of my circus costume so I could go and try and find the people who killed my parents. And then the end of that movie is him at the bat signal with Gordon, and it's like, oh, I got some help now. And boom, the final shot is Robin coming down in his full Robin costume that Alfred made for him.
Again, like the recent Jeff Lemire run with the Robin and Batman, the 3-issue series, is like captures it perfectly.
Yeah.
Where it's like, it's a young Dick Grayson. He's full of anger. He thinks he has to be Batman to do any good in the world. Alfred reminding him he doesn't have to be Batman. He can be himself. He can be his Robin. And then at the end of that, he gets like the new costume.
Yeah. Again, I could see. If you want to do, just rip off Robin's Reckoning from Batman the Animated Series, because it's still arguably the perfect Robin origin story in like 40 minutes. Red hoodie, green balaclava, yellow, homemade utility belt.
Yeah.
Have him jump around, and then at the end, he gets a real costume.
Yeah, I'd love it so much. I don't know whether they're going to be doing that, but yeah.
I don't know either. They seem so weirdly defiant about having a kid sidekick, and in this universe too, they're like, "Oh, isn't that child endangerment?" Yeah, it's a fantasy though.
They're so weird about it that sometimes they'll just like skip it and just go, "Oh, Nightwing's here now," like in the Titans show.
Yeah, that's so weird.
Or like Robin's here, but he's like 25.
We like kid sidekicks. To think that the best kid sidekick we've gotten on screen is Hit Girl from Kick-Ass, and that was supposed to be a parody of kid sidekicks. It's a parody that superseded the thing it was making fun of.
Yeah.
And it proved it worked too, because it's a fucking fantasy. Yeah, just have a kid stunt on a bunch of criminals.
Yeah. It's funny.
He's good at parkour. He's an acrobat. Yeah, have him like baseball slide under dudes, hit him in the nuts, poke him in the eye, have him do like all dirty fighting.
Yeah, and again, like that Jeff Lemire on that, he does all that sort of shit in that because like he has to be the distraction for Batman.
Yeah. Again, I think there's a lot of fun stuff you could have with that, and I like the idea of Batman, especially this version of it, saying, I need to be a hero to someone. I need to be a role model. Batman can be a symbol for inspiration.
Yeah, and it will also be kind of like the first Batman we have who's kind of still young and has a young ward as well.
Yes, absolutely.
Which would be really quite cool.
It would be, yeah. We need to become this surrogate family, me, him, and Alfred, and we can be the things that we have all lost.
Yeah.
So that would be something.
Yeah.
Yeah, I'm all about that. Is that all we can really say about Batman? I feel like we've talked it up. There's a lot to really like about this movie.
Yeah, I expect by the time this actually goes up, they'll have announced a sequel. Fast tracking a sequel because it's making boatloads of money.
Because it made all the money.
Yeah.
And it came out at a good time, too. Like, COVID restrictions are being dropped all over the place there. I actually felt safe and confident to go see the movie, and I did. And it's been a couple days, and I'm not sick, so woo! Didn't risk my life and health to see Batman. But yeah, that's what I'm about. Now, again, because Bland Man gave us such a nice tip there, before we go, let's talk about some underrated comic series that you should be reading right now. Here's one I always mention, Black Sad by Juan Diaz Canales. It's, again, very film noir. Every issue is beautifully painted. It's in a, 1950s world of anthropomorphized animals, solving mysteries, and it's very, old Hollywood. It's good.
Yes, it's very good, very good.
Miracle Man, obviously he's coming back in a big way, so if you've never read Miracle Man before, now is probably the time.
Yes, definitely. I will at least try and read it and try and understand what it's about. It's very heady.
Yeah, it really is. There's a lot going on there. And also know that this is like a superhero deconstruction before superhero deconstruction.
Yes.
Talking about the idea of evil Superman and everything else from back in the day, even before it was a thing.
Yep.
You mentioned Secret Six there as a book I had mentioned before that you like. Get Matthew Rosenberg's short-lived Uncanny X-Men because it very much is in that kind of dark comedy mismatched team.
Yeah, and also Secret Six, you got to do the Villains United story.
Yes, that's a good... Yeah, Villains United, 6 Degrees of Devastation, because that book technically starts even before you think it starts.
Yes.
That's really good. Oh man, what are some other ones? I know you've been loving One Star Squadron.
I was just about to say that. Yeah, it's brilliant. It's almost finished. It's only 6 issues, but it's brilliant. Same with the Blue and Gold series. The Booster Gold Blue Beetle series is fantastic as well.
Black Bolt by Saladin Ahmed. If you wondered what really kickstarted his career. And if you want to read arguably one of the greatest Inhuman stories ever told, it's very easy and it's short.
Yep, him and Christian Ward just did so much great work on that book.
The Steve Orlando Midnighter series from 2016, short-lived but a really great series starring him.
Yes, and that kind of led into the Steve Orlando's Justice League of America book.
Yeah, so it's actually kind of more prevalent now than it's been.
Yeah, and as well, Midnighter and Apollo are big characters now in Superman, so...
Absolutely, so yeah, definitely now would be a good time to check that out. Oh man, this is the problem when you read 100 comics a month, where it's what are some good underrated ones? I don't know, I've read so many of them, I know there's some that are underrated.
What do you class as underrated, though?
I mean, I guess, finished too soon, but was really good. What is it? Gene Luen Yang's short-lived Batman Superman from just a couple of years ago.
Yes.
Or just a year ago.
Yes, his little time on that book. And as well, to just add to that, his new Superman series with Keenan Kong.
Oh, yeah, you really like that.
Yeah.
His Shang-Chi was good too. Oh, honestly, anything by Gene Luen Yang. I think great. They're making his Dragon Basketball thing into a Netflix show.
Yeah, yep.
So check that out. That one's pretty good. Ooh, that Paul Dini True Dark Knight story, which is a story about his life and him getting mugged and surviving that and working on Batman the Animated Series. That's really good. That's really good. I like that one. Other history of the DC Universe. Again, these were all on my best of list for last year.
Yeah, Beta Ray Bill.
Oh, yeah, there's an excellent one. Now we're just talking about stuff from last year that we really like. but they're good. Again, we can't say if they're underrated. Yeah, we'll see if people remember them. I'm sure they'll remember them.
Yeah.
Honestly, the Suicide Squad book that's going on right now, I think, is underrated. It's heading into a big event right now.
Yeah, well, it's finishing up.
Ooh, David Walker's time on Luke Cage. Again, also short-lived.
Yep, Matthew Rosenberg's Punisher series.
Yes, which again, now check that out because Punisher #1 is dropping soon, and that's the last time it was there.
It's dropping this week.
Yeah, it's dropping this week. Actually, here's the thing: if you read Daredevil: Woman Without Fear, he shows up in the costume at the end of that.
Oh, really? I was gonna I'm reading them tonight because I'm doing like doing like all 3 issues in one video.
It was a disappointing book, but I like Chip Zdarsky being like, yeah, I know what's going on with the Hand and the Punisher, and yes, I know I'm doing my own thing. Don't worry, Jason Aaron cleared it with me. I know what's up.
Well, that's good.
Yeah. What is it? That Deathstroke run from Christopher Priest. That was really good.
Yeah, his little time on Justice League was really good as well.
Yes, you did enjoy that. Obviously, Greg Rucka's time on The Question is really good. Hard to find now, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Because it's kind of buried in like a bunch of other different books. I will also say Sam Wilson's time as Captain America. I think a lot of that got buried in all the other stuff Nick Spencer was doing with Secret Empire and the main Captain America book. I think people forget that there were some really amazing Sam adventures in there. Mm-hmm. And obviously it's going to get turned into that 4th Captain America movie.
Yes, absolutely.
So there's a good one. Obviously Jonah Hex by Jimmy Palmiotti and Justin Gray. That's good. And we love Mark Russell here. So, I mean, anything Mark Russell does. He did a Lone Ranger miniseries. If you like Westerns, that was really good.
I really want to read that. I want to get some time to read that. But yeah, anything he touches is amazing. Matt Fraction as well with his Jimmy Olsen series was just fantastic.
Yes, that was good. His Lone Ranger one is great, too. Like, I wouldn't regularly pick up a Lone Ranger comic, but it is darkly funny, and it's about Tonto and, like, land disputes, and, like, 'cause so many Western stories are about land disputes, but he, actually really goes into it.
Like his Flintstone book from the Hanna-Barbera DC Age was, like, all about economics.
Very much
and
so.
Stuff like that.
If you love political humor, Prez, also by Mark Russell.
Yes, and Billionaire Island.
Yes, all things he did. That was the DCU era that everyone seems to forget, but those were solid.
Yeah.
Well, there we go. We hope that does it for you there for underrated series. I think Matt and I really challenged ourselves and found out some good ones. Again, you twisted our arm with that nice donation, so we didn't want to leave you in the lurch there. It's like, no, let's actually think of some good ones.
Yeah.
But yeah, so thank you everyone for coming and hanging out with us here. Sorry for that technical difficulty earlier on. We know it's Monday, and I'm sure some of you got work or school or everything tomorrow, but we appreciate you hanging out with us. Thank you everyone who cheered and donated. We always really like that.
Yeah, appreciate it all.
Yeah, it's what keeps the show going in more ways than one. So thank you so much, everyone. We hope you enjoyed the video, and Matt and I will be back again next week with more stuff. Yeah, look forward to seeing you guys here next week. Yeah, be sure to follow Matt over on his channel, the channel you're on right now, Fortress of Solitude. He's got stream stuff, I'm sure, coming up. You're loving Elden Ring. Oh, yeah, I can't get enough of it. I gotta get back at streaming at some point. I really do. Like, I'm playing more stuff on the PC, and I always think, like, I should stream this, and then I'm like, no, I'm enjoying just having time for myself, honestly. Honestly, that's how I am with Elden Ring. I'm like, I should stream this. I'm like, but then, like, I'll keep, like, setting expectations for myself, being like, I've got to beat this boss in one go, and keep the story moving, whereas, like, I won't, and I'll end up getting stuck on a boss for, like, 200 tries. And then I think to myself, I'm like, well, should I just, like, record it and upload it later? And then I'm like, well, then I'm still working, aren't I? And then I gotta make editing work for myself later? Fuck. Yeah. It's the trials and tribulations of being an internet content creator, guys. I tell you, this is our bitch session right here. Oh, David Biglin, more D&D. Yeah, I'm writing the next episode of Capes and Crooks right now. We're actually sponsored. We got a real sponsorship from Session Zero Clothing. Nice. I'll be sure to put a link down in the description. They gave me a nice 10% off for everyone. They're technically not sponsoring this show, but I'll talk about it anyway. Free advertising. Free advertisement. There you go. Yeah, we got that coming down the pipeline. I think Matt and I actually did an interview on the same podcast on separate days. Yeah, I haven't done mine yet, but it's coming. I had to reschedule mine, but it is coming up. Yeah. Yeah, I was on BJ Mendelssohn's show there. What are you working on? It's not out yet, but it was a lot of fun getting to talk to him, especially because he's a dude who's followed me on Twitter, and I followed him, so it was nice to put a face to the name and everything. I don't think those are out yet, but when they are out, I will be sure to link people to it. Yeah. I like getting invited on podcasts to do stuff. I'm very much an internet hermit, and it's hard to get me out of my house. But when I do get out, it's nice.
Yeah, this will actually be my first time being invited on another show, which is a lot of fun.
Fuck yeah, that's good. Hey, if anyone has other shows, be sure to inundate Matt with a request to go do it. So yeah, thank you everyone for watching and listening and hanging out. And Matt and I will be back again next week. Same Comic Multiverse time, same Comic Multiverse place and channel.
See ya, everyone.
Bye-bye.